Hi everyone, I'm going to teach you how to make the wreath ornament. First you're going to take your shower ring out, make sure that it is clasped shut. You're going to take your yarn and tie a knot at the top of the ring where the clasp is with the end of your yarn. And then you're going to take your yarn, bundle it in one hand, and just feed it through this shower ring over and over and over again. And while you are doing it, you're just going to make sure the tension is even and that these threads of yarn fit nice and snugly against each other. And so I hold it with one finger. One hand is holding the yarn as it goes into place, and the other hand is taking this bundle of yarn and feeding it through the ring. Just move it up as you work and go all the way around the ring, doing that same thing. Okay, just wanted to show you I'm about halfway around the ring, continuing in the same motion. And you can see one of my loops got crisscrossed, and that's okay. You can just pull your yarn through, untangle it. If they cross over each other one time, it's not that big of a deal. Just leave it and keep going as long as those threads land next to each other, kind of uniformly around the ring with the same tension. And keep going until you get back up to the top of the ring. Okay, back up at the top of the ring. You'll notice that I left this tail out from the start. You're going to want to make sure that that stays out because you're going to need it at the very end to tie the end to. If you need to hold it down while you're moving this through, or just make sure that tail stays out. Okay, I'm back up at the top. I'm going to go around for a second layer. And the second layer, the threads, the loops are not going to sit as close together because in that first layer, I already used half of my yarn and I'm going to make 3 layers here. So you don't have the same amount for every layer. First layer takes the most yarn. So the second layer, I'm placing them just a little bit further out from each other, still uniform, but you'll notice that they sit just a little bit wider out. Their loops are a little bit wider out from each other. So I'm going to finish this second layer. Okay, I'm back up at the top. My tail is still out. I just finished my second layer. Now I'm going to go for a third layer. And this third layer, you're going to want the end of your yarn to land at the top. This is also going to be placed a little bit wider out, spacing from each other as you loop around so that you can make it all the way around the wreath in this third layer so that the end of the yarn can tie to that tail that you left out at the beginning. Okay, so I'm back up at the top. I have a lot of extra yarn. I mean, the first time I did this, I hardly had any extra yarn. So it just depends on how you wrap it. But what I did just now while it was paused was I just took this and kind of moved my loops down along the shower curtain, and it opened up a spot to wrap the yarn a little bit more around. You can either do that or you can just trim off the excess. after you tie this knot, of course. Don't trim anything yet. But so then when you get to the end and you meet back up at the top, you've got your guys all wrapped together, and you're going to tie a knot with the tail that you left behind at the beginning. Okay, and then you're going to take your bell. I'm sorry, before you take your bell, you're going to want to take your scissors, and you want to tie a double knot here so that it stays in place. Take your scissors and trim off all the extra yarn. I'm actually not going to trim because this is one of the kits, and I don't want to take away from what you guys can be making. So pretend I just trimmed that up. Take your bell, thread it through the ribbon, like I've done here, and put your bell on the inside of the wreath so that the ribbon comes on either side. If you can see that. Okay, and then you're just going to tie a knot. Make sure it's up there at the top where that yarn stopped and started, and just tie a knot with your ribbon right there at the top. Make sure you double that so it stays in place. Okay, then you tie a knot at the top of the ribbon. This is going to make the loop to hang on the tree. This yarn is, this ribbon is a little bit slick, so you might find, I don't know what kind of knot this is, what the name of it is, but you might find that this is a little bit better of a knot to tie at the top to keep that ribbon in place since it's so slick. Then you've got the loop that's going to hang over your tree branch. Then you're going to take this wide ribbon. In the red kit, it is the gingham ribbon. You're going to tie a bow. Make sure it's nice and tight in the size that you want. And you're going to take the glue that's on your table. We've got turbo tacky glue and quick dry tacky glue. They're both very good. They'll hold firm and they'll dry quickly. Put a dot of glue right at the top, right above your bell, okay? And then hold your ribbon on there until it is dry, and you'll have this pretty wreath ornament. Got red, blue, and white. I hope you love it. Hope you have a great time. Thank you for coming.